Tonight on WENY News, today is Holocaust Remembrance Day. We'll talk with a local rabbi about why remembering the historical horror is so important.
Some snow showers across the Twin Tiers this evening, but we are expecting warmer conditions for tomorrow.
Plus, lawmakers in Harrisburg have spent years battling the opioid epidemic. We're going to tell you how Governor Shapiro plans to tackle that issue. WENY News at 6 starts right now.
From across the Twin Tiers, this is WENY News at 6.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for WENY News at 6. I'm Renata Steele.
And I'm Nick Quattrini. Well, it's been a chilly day all across the region with temperatures in the 40s and even a few rain and even some snow showers behind us.
Yeah, right now you can see that on our Corning Skycam and WENY. Chief Meteorologist Joe Veras is here to tell us about a warming trend right around the corner. Joe?
That's right. This cool spell, rather short-lived. It's associated with an area of low pressure over southern Canada right now, and we're getting some of the moisture kind of swirling around that storm system. It's all lifting up towards the north and east, and by the time we head into tomorrow afternoon, the back edge of the cloud cover, which is currently across Michigan and northeast Ohio, will be lifting up through our region, and we'll start to see increasing amounts of sunshine, and that'll help push temperatures closer to where we should be for this time of year. But if you're stepping out this evening, again, we have some mixed rain and snow showers out there. Can't even rule out some minor accumulations, say on grassy surfaces, on car tops, things of that nature, up on the hilltops especially. That's where temperatures right now, a couple degrees cooler. Some of the cooler spots are right at the freezing mark currently. 32 in Wellsville, 32 in Westfield, so a little bit easier for some of the snow to accumulate just a little bit in those locations, but elsewhere Corning at 41, even though some light snow is in the air, tougher to get that accumulation. 41 as well in Elmira. Westerly wind at 13 miles an hour, making it feel like it's in the low and mid 30s. Better weather for tomorrow, early clouds and some afternoon sunshine. Temperatures rising into the mid 50s, 57 our 5-degree guarantee, but a more significant warming trend likely late week as a warm front lifts through. We could hit 80 again by Thursday and Friday. I'll let you know how long those summer-like temperatures will stick around coming up in just a few minutes.
Joe, thank you. Well, over 7 decades ago, the world's largest war and mass genocide ended. The liberation of Nazi concentration camps across Europe found 6 million people were killed.
Jews, gypsies, people living with disabilities, and those with different sexual orientations, they all lost their lives. WENY's Max Coben spoke with an Elmira rabbi to learn the significance of today. Max?
Nick and Renata, today is Yom HaShoah, also known as Holocaust Remembrance Day. It is a reminder of the heroism in the uprising against the Nazis. The Holocaust taught hundreds of lessons. One that stands out is how people stood idly and watched it all happen. Across Europe, many people stood and watched families become separated, denied access to stores, and soon after sent on trains to extermination camps where they would lose their lives to the Nazi regime.
This is a day in which we commemorate not only the Holocaust and the destruction and the annihilation of 6 million Jews, as well as 5 other non-Jewish victims of the 5 million other non-Jewish victims of the Holocaust.
Across Europe were a place of not only persecution, but execution. These tracks leading to the entrances are where Jews lost their rights and potentially, moments later, their lives. Flowers were placed throughout the concentration camp to honor lives lost.
And on this side here, we have Holocaust Remembrance Day, or Yom HaShoah. It shows the flower at the ghetto's walls. It's based on a famous photo.
Survivors are becoming few and far between. Rabbi Dr. Oren shared it is important to hear survivor stories so the Holocaust does not get forgotten in history. A valuable point mentioned, the Holocaust did not start with death camps. It did not start with extermination. It started with a bucket full of little things which added up over time. By the time it was noticed, it was too late. It has been 78 years since the Holocaust ended.
Thank you for that report, Max. The Elmira Police Department held a promotion ceremony today for 2 of its officers. Deputy Chief Scott Packard previously took the oath of office, but his family wasn't able to make it for the last swearing in. Packard joined the department in April of 2003, and he was promoted to sergeant in 2011, lieutenant in 2016, and deputy chief since March of this year. The other officer who was promoted, Andrew Hewson, was hired in January of 2009 and has been promoted to sergeant. Hewson says he is honored to be promoted.
It's quite an honor that they entrust my skills and knowledge and ability in the job to bring it forward to a whole platoon to serve the city of Elmira. It's a great honor to be able to take my skills up to the next level.
And Chief Thorne says these ceremonies are important as they highlight the good work that the officers have done to reach the point that they are now.
Well, roughly 300,000 Pennsylvanians suffer from substance use disorder, and that number continues to grow, as does the threat of fentanyl and other illicit drugs like xylazine. Today in Philadelphia, Governor Josh Shapiro announced his administration's latest efforts to fight xylazine, also known as tranq.
And our Pennsylvania State Capitol correspondent Brendan Scanlon, he joins us live with the very latest on today's announcement. Brendan?
Hey there, Renata and Nick. Good evening. Well, xylazine is a powerful animal sedative used by veterinarians, but unfortunately, it's showing up more frequently in illicit opioids like fentanyl. In fact, in 2017, it contributed to 90 deaths in Pennsylvania. In 2021, that number rose to nearly 600 deaths. Now, to fight the deadly trend, Shapiro is directing his administration to temporarily add xylazine to the list of Schedule III narcotics, as well as nitazines, a class of synthetic opioids, to the list of Schedule I narcotics. As governor, he does have the authority to schedule substances that pose an imminent threat to public safety for at least 1 year. So what exactly does this all mean? Well, it means tighter controls, security, and record keeping for both manufacturers and practitioners. Stronger delivery and storage requirements are just a few of the changes Shapiro says will help keep tranq off the streets.
But taking this step will make it harder for these dangerous drugs to be used illegally and illicitly, and it will also raise awareness that the danger of xylazine, of tranq, is playing in our community.
And there's really no easy way to test substances for xylazine. Xylazine is not an opioid and therefore does not respond to opioid reversers like naloxone. However, officials say to still administer naloxone if there are signs of an opioid overdose. We'll have some of those signs up on our website, WENY.com. But for now, reporting live at the Pennsylvania State Capitol for WENY News, I'm Brendan Scanlon. Renata and Nick, back to you.
Brendan, thank you. Well, this week is Earth Week, and New York announced several new large-scale renewable energy infrastructure projects across the state. According to the governor's office, the projects support the creation of nearly 1,800 jobs. The state says the projects will reduce nearly 600,000 tons of carbon emissions annually. Locally, Barron Winds and 8-Point Wind, both in Steuben County, were completed back in February. New York says their goal is to have 70% of the state's electricity come from renewable energy by 2030. A brand new grape variety has been created, and it could be hitting the market soon.
And it was more than 4 decades in the making. WENY's Deshaun Robinson spoke to a renowned grape breeder at Cornell about this new variety.
After taking 42 years of dotting those I's and crossing those T's, Professor Bruce Riesch of Cornell declared the new grape Aravel. The process included lots of research and teamwork to make this new variety more resistant to diseases and the changing climate than its parent, Riesling.
Aravel is more cold tolerant, so it gets through the winters, through colder temperatures in the winters than Riesling would. And the wine quality is very similar to Riesling.
For you wine lovers, the taste of Aravel can be described as distinct and unique.
Some of the tasters will describe it as having the aroma of peaches or apricots, muscat, which is a particular grape flavor that's really very aromatic.
You can buy wines made from Aravel in Vice Vineyard, located on the banks of Cayuga Lake in Hammondsport. Other wineries are likely to sell Aravel within the next few years. Deshaun Robinson, WNY News.
New developments in the shooting of a black teenager in Kansas City who authorities say rang the wrong doorbell. We'll take you to Missouri, where the homeowner has turned himself in to authorities.
Plus, an American journalist imprisoned in Russia appeals his charges of espionage. We'll take you to Moscow for the very latest on that story.
And tracking a few snow showers across the Twin Tiers this evening, but there's warmer temperatures just around the corner. We'll talk about that warming trend coming up right after the break. But first, let's step outside, take a live look at our Crystal City sky cam, seeing a few flakes flying there within the last couple of minutes. You're watching WENY News at 6.